Good afternoon, Miami sports fans. Welcome back to Miami Sports Break on this Thursday afternoon. David Eversole, joined as always by Jaccare Givens. Want to get everybody caught up on the week in Miami sports. A lot to talk about. Some good, some not so good. So we're going to kind of break everything down here over about the next 30 minutes and bring you up to date on the world of Miami sports. What's going on, Jock?
Not much, just uh, you know, the usual grind. Been a tough week in Miami. I don't think we
Yeah,
had many W's lately.
no. Well, there's one team that's hot. We'll get to them a little bit later in the show, but obviously we're going to kick things off and talk about the Miami Heat, who are really free falling now after a loss to the Washington Wizards, who
A
probably are the worst.
bad, a very bad loss. Let's
Yeah,
just call it what it is.
yeah, it's a bad loss. Another late game collapse by the team. They dropped the game 105 to 100 against Beal in Washington. The Heat have dropped 7 of 8. And there's a lot of things to point to. I think a lot of people talk about chemistry, talk about injuries, COVID, and everything else. But just offensively, especially, this team just is not good, and they cannot take care of the basketball at all. So there's a lot of glaring problems. We're going to touch on a few of those here. So after probably what was one of the worst losses of the season, what do you see from the Heat, and is there any way they can turn this around now?
I think the biggest thing for Miami is they just need to find the rotation that work. Kelly Olynyk is not the answer. He's been playing terrible. I do think Miami does need to make a trade just to create a spark. Um, they missed out on James Harden, which they should have made the deal. We love Precious Achua, we love Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, but they're not going to be James Harden. Um, and they don't have that guy per se like the other teams have. You look at Jimmy Butler, is he going to be the guy to close it out? I just think they need somebody else. I like Victor Oladipo to be added. Bradley Bill, I'm kind of off that train, but I think they should go see Alonzo Ball. They need something. They need a spark. The lineup hasn't been working. Um, I just think Miami has to play better overall as well because up 10 points. And when Bam and Butler go to the bench, it's like a free fall after that. Guys lose their mind. It's like nobody knows what to do. And you didn't see that last season in the bubble. That offense was pretty potent. Everybody was clicking at a high level. Or maybe it's just the bubble wearing down on them as well. So that's a factor. But it's not an excuse because Miami plays a good brand of basketball, but it's something out there offensively. I don't know if they're missing Jay Crowder to the point where was he that big of an offensive glare? Was he that big a part of the offense? Yes, he was hitting threes, but I didn't think he was as advertised. But I do think that he has to. They have to find something else. I don't think Kelly Olynyk's the answer. I do want Miami to go ahead and explore the trade market for a four to put next to Bam Adebayo, just because they need that. So I think a four or a point guard would be the answer, or even maybe a scoring punch. Obviously, a Bradley Bill, Victor Oladipo type guy, Lonzo Ball to a lesser degree. But they do like Miami needs a four. If it's not evident they need a four, they need a four really, really bad.
Yeah, they need a 3 and D guy who can give them some offense off the bench. I think Spo sticks with Olynyk for the spacing aspect of it, but if he's not hitting shots, he's not bringing you any other kind of value, really. He's not a great rebounder. And you see this team struggling on the defensive glass, getting guys boxed out in the paint, and they're just struggling in a lot of areas. I think because of the injuries and the different guys playing with unfamiliar teammates. There's not a lot of continuity as well, and you see guys being asked to do things that maybe they're not comfortable. Duncan Robinson, we know, is kind of a liability on defense, and he's very specialized on offense. So basically, the dribble handoff is his game. Obviously, working off of Bam Adebayo. If that's not working, the offense seems to get stagnant to find other sets and other ways to develop offense because they don't really have a lot of those guys like a James Harden or somebody that could just go out and get theirs a lot.
So question for you: do you think it's time to hit the panic button for the Miami Heat?
Well, I mean, depends on your expectations. I mean, if you expect this team to really compete and move very far into the playoffs, I think that's unrealistic as they're showing with these struggles in the most important situations late in the game. They don't have a closer. Their closing lineups are kind of up and down. You saw Duncan Robinson wasn't even out there for the last possession, and Jimmy Butler didn't even touch the ball. So they've got some issues with guys kind of getting that mentality of, okay, it's my time to step up. And you saw that in the finals with Jimmy Butler. He really carried this team along with Bam before he got hurt to where they made it. But I think that obviously the situation last year in the bubble was unique, and
I
then now
don't,
they're
I
they're in a
don't.
different
The
spot.
bubble's not an excuse for me. I
No,
I
it's
think
definitely not. No, me
I
neither. They
see
got to
it
get it
that
together.
I think Miami has to just play better. There's let's call it what it is. They're not playing well enough to win. I do fully expect them to go out on Saturday and beat the hell out of the Wizards, just because
Yeah,
they
they
need to.
can't drop a second game in a row to the
No,
Wizards.
and they lost to the Wizards without Bradley. I mean, without Westbrook. So that was kind of alarming, man. Like, come on now, you can't lose a game like that. It was Bill and a bunch of nobodies, and it's just like, come on, man, we got to do. They have to do better. And
Right.
I expect them to play better. I do want them to play better, just because Miami needs that. Um, Also, I just I don't know if a trade, but I will say this: Miami did miss out on landing a big star, just because they didn't want to,
I
move a
got a
few.
special guest here. Sorry, this is my boy Ari. Get in there. You want to be
you
on
might
camera?
well,
Here you go.
you might as well get on the show, man.
You might as well get in the show if you want to be in the show. All
So,
right. But anyway, we winging things here, man. During a pandemic, you got to do what you got to do. So, you know.
so, but yeah, I just think Miami missed out on the chance. They struck out on Giannis, but they struck. Well, Giannis, he signed his deal hard and the Harden deal. But I just feel like Miami has to go ahead and do something to move the
Mhm.
roster forward. Trying to run it back with this team is not
No.
the thing right now. Just because
And we
people are, and they have to understand people want to play Miami. Like, it's not like how it was last year. You kept the teams by surprise.
Yeah, and I think like somebody like Alonzo Ball, like we've talked about, just some very specific guys that fill a very specific need. A 3 and D wing on the 4 position, a point guard that can stop guys at the point of attack, a pass first point guard, a real distributor on offense, a microwave type scorer off the bench. And I think maybe if you could sort of reallocate some guys, maybe you move Hero to the bench to give that second unit some punch
I
because
think,
Hero's going to
and
light
I
up the
think
second
I
unit
think
on
he'll play
defense.
way better off the bench too. And I think Hero's just falling into the expectations of everybody because he had a good rookie season,
Mhm.
and now it's like it's year two. People got film on you, so you have to adjust to the game as well.
Yeah, he elevated his game in the playoffs and he showed a little bit of maturity, probably beyond his years. So there might be a little bit of a regression with him finding his role with the roster as is. And they lost out on some guys. And there's just certain guys like Myers Leonard obviously being out. I mean, that was pretty much just a wasted roster
That's a
spot.
roster, right?
So it's
Yes.
just a weird team.
And
Avery
that's
Bradley
another
hasn't.
thing that I disagree with Miami on. They kind of stayed put with Miles Leonard, and I think they should have moved on from him. The Mo Harkless the signing has looked terrible.
Mhm,
Avery Bradley, we can't really judge because he hasn't really, got his feet wet. Yeah, he's been injured. Then he had the COVID situation. So I just think Miami just like I think they missed the ball there. It's okay that you missed the ball. It is what it is. Sometimes it
mhm,
happens like that, but you have to mitigate what you're doing. You have to mitigate that
mhm.
now. They have
Well,
to. So I
and
don't
you don't want to
know.
see, I was going to say, you don't want to see another James Johnson, Dion Waiters situation with just throwing away those roster spots and that salary. Obviously, you got to make a move because this roster right now, I just don't think their
They
ceiling is
can't win.
really that high. Their ceiling just isn't that high.
Do I
They're a
think
fringe
Miami?
playoff team right now, to be honest. That my opinion is, I mean, they're like a 6, 7 seed right now. They're good enough to
Oh,
be making the
yeah.
playoffs, but they're not going
And they're
to
gonna give
go
whoever
anywhere.
they. Yeah, they're gonna give whoever they play problems. Let's just be
Mhm.
honest now, but because Miami plays hard, but it hasn't been the year right now, and I just think they have to either re-energize it with a trade or just play better. If you're gonna keep this roster, play better. That's the
Yeah.
expectation we expect in Miami to play hard. They're not,
Mhm.
they're not finishing games, and that was not a problem last year for them.
And I mean, honestly, I think Spo's is struggling a little bit with just trying to find guys to really take advantage of their situational skill sets. And I think late in games, he's just trying to find answers, and it's a process. And some of his decisions may come under some scrutiny, obviously. So you've got to look at the big picture. He's just working with what he has. So you've got to play the cards you're dealt, but you've got to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. You really can't. You can't lose the Charlotte game to where you kind of just blow up in overtime and then do it again
No,
against
no,
a
no, no.
really
They
bad
blew up.
Wizards team.
They blew up in that whole fourth quarter.
Yeah, the fourth quarter was bad. I mean, they still won but the overtime it just kind of like put the nail in the
Yeah.
coffin. Obviously,
One.
Lamelo and Malik Monk both lit them up from the guard spot. So there's a lot of concerns on Miami, both on the offensive and defensive end. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they come out on Saturday. If they come out angry and focused, or if they come out flat, we'll kind of judge them from that. But moving on, I want to talk a little bit about the Hurricanes. We had a show last night, the Sixth Ring, and Manny Diaz has really kind of owned the defensive struggles, and him taking over as defensive coordinator is one thing. But I think the guys he's brought in around him, such as the Bob Shoop hire, I think was
So
great. Bringing back Jess Simpson,
so
obviously T.
I
Rob.
do have a little insight on that. Um, Obviously talking to one of my sources. So the reason why Shoot wasn't named the defensive coordinator is because he didn't want to mess up his money at Michigan that he has owed to him. So he took an analyst role, right? So speaking, if Shoop is there next year, because you never know, he may take a job at a better conference. Um, he will be the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I think just Manny's putting guys in sort of these administrative type roles to help him manage certain aspects because he's still the head coach. I think he's got to have strong guys around him to carry some of that weight. And I'm really excited to see the young, energetic coaching staff now. They've got some real hungry coaches. I think these guys paid their dues in the SEC, and they're young coaches. They're hungry. They're relatable to the players. They're energetic, and I think they're no
I
nonsense.
just listen. This is my thing, and I'm gonna go back to it. And Manny Diaz, I think they're gonna have a de facto defensive coordinator. Obviously, the game plan is gonna be collaborative, but this is it. Manny has won the offseason the last 2 to 3 years. It's time to put some products together, and I'm not talking about Cheez It Bowl product. I'm talking about ACC championship game. Show
New
us
Year's
that you,
Six something.
yeah,
They got to make
no,
it
no,
to a
no, no, no.
January
Like,
bowl game.
and we don't know what Clemson is gonna be. We all expect them to be the best team, obviously, because they have the best players and they have the best quarterback in the league right now. But let's just say they have a down year. They lose a couple of close games. Miami should be in that college football playoff picture in the ACC. Um, Obviously, I expect Florida State to get better. You
It can't be
expect
much
to,
worse.
yeah, you expect those guys to get better. But looking at Miami's schedule outside of Alabama, Michigan State game, very winnable games across the board.
Mhm.
Obviously, you have your tough ACC games, and Miami always seems to, have their little, have their
Mhm.
moments. But
Right.
other than that, you should be able to go ahead and do that. I think that they should be able to win 10 to 11 games easily. Obviously, it's hard to go undefeated in the college football world, starting off the season with Alabama. But hey, Alabama is going to have a new quarterback next season, and Miami will have a pretty good chance of beating this team because they have it. So I just want to see them obviously just make progress. Manny Diaz is
Mhm.
going to be on the hot seat because you have all this talent coming in. You got the right coaching staff. Now we got to see it translate to wins. Obviously, if it doesn't translate to wins, then you already know how that's going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to stay with my prediction. I still think he's going to get fired at the end of the season just because, like I said, you cannot be a head coach and a defensive coordinator. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Alabama game is going to be really tough, but there's the ACC is basically Clemson, and you've seen North Carolina kind of move up a little bit in stature. Obviously, they took Miami behind the woodshed last year, so I think Miami's going to worry about getting past teams like North Carolina before they can really set their eyes on the Clemsons of the world. They've got a long way to go, but I
Well,
think that
you have to play each year by year, though. So we can't say that before the Clemsons of the world because they can have a down year. And obviously a down year for them is 9-10 wins, but hey,
Mhm.
they can have a down year, and Miami has the better team. They have a great roster, a lot of their guys returning, so you can't be upset about that. And Miami just has to buckle down this year. I'm very excited for what Miami has brought into to the back to the table off season wise every year, and they're probably gonna add a few more guys. But I just want to see them win. Like, that's translated to the field. Miami had a decent season this year due to all the COVID restrictions. I think the ACC, excuse my language, fucked them over, just not letting them play Notre Dame, because I think Miami would have beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean, Miami's obviously they've got a long way to go, but I think that another solid offseason is going to help the trajectory of the team and sort of putting the defensive staff with a lot of experience mixed with that younger, energetic coordinator such as T. Rob, and obviously the move for Demarcus Van Dyke as well. I think that's going to be a real key to seeing some improvement in the secondary, hopefully, and taking Mike Rumph and putting him in recruiting. We'll see how
That's
that all
kind of
plans
shit,
out.
yeah.
But that's it is what it is. But I like the Jeff Simpson return to the team. I think Miami's going to have a lot of that Manny Diaz identity back on the defense with the aggression. I think Blake Baker just took his foot off the gas too much with this team and sort of let the other offenses dictate to him. And Miami's got to win with four up front, like we always talk about. Get after the quarterback, force some turnovers. You think they're going to bring back the chain this year?
I would. I mean, I don't see that as a big deal. I don't think the chain is the reason why these guys are not playing well.
No, no, no. It's just fun. I mean, it's had a 4-year run, so at some point, it's
They should
obviously
keep
it's
the
going to get.
chain for the rest of the time the canes are available. Um, just because it's fun, it's fascinating for the guys. Obviously, it probably lost a little flack this year without the
Yeah,
fans. But
right.
to be honest, that hurt college football a lot this year, because a lot of the games Miami lost, they probably would have won. Like, if there's fans in the stadium, that adrenaline pumping,
Mhm.
it's a little bit better. It's more charisma to the game. So you just have to, bunker down, and I think Miami's in a good position overall, but I still think Manny Diaz, he has to prove it this year, and if he doesn't, he's gonna get fired, and another guy is gonna keep his staff and gonna come in and win the national title.
Yeah, no, I think it's kind of a make or break year for Manny as well. So I wanted to ask you about this. Obviously, with the NFL season being the way it is, are you excited about the Super Bowl? Are you looking forward to this matchup? Do you think it's going to be an exciting, high octane scoring game? You think it's going to be a little bit back and forth? You think Tom Brady's going to pull
Well,
out one Super Bowl? What do you see in
the
this game?
excitement factor is always gonna be there. Obviously, when you watch Mahomes play, it's just Mahomes is Mahomes. So you love that aspect. It's a great storyline. You got Patrick Mahomes, you got Tom Brady going for 7. So I'm excited. You're always excited about the Super Bowl. Obviously, it loses a little bit of its firepower because it's no fans. So, and it's not like the usual buzz down there. Like, I'm from the Miami area, but the buzz last year with the Super Bowl, it was amazing. You went down to South Beach, you seen all the setups,
Yeah.
you seen all the media day, all that stuff. So was it exciting? Yes, but I'm excited for this game just to see, Brady. It's the old GOAT versus the new GOAT, Jordan versus LeBron, just to see who wins. And I'm pulling for Brady. I want Brady to win his 7th
No,
championship.
no.
Yeah, I want him to win his 7th championship so he can go ahead and retire.
Uh, I can't. I can't
Nah,
root for Brady. I want him to
it's,
lose. Can he
it's,
lose and retire? I mean, that's what I
nah,
want to see.
nah, 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 nah. Brady going out on top, man. I think he wins 7.
And you
And
know what? I
it's
mean,
too
I'm worried
much.
about Kansas City's offensive line too.
Yeah, and it's too
They got some
much
dogs
going.
up front in
Yeah,
Tampa.
they got a lot of war daddies up front, yes, and it's too much going against them. Obviously, it works with you, and but it's a lot going against you because I don't give a damn how great of a quarterback you is. And if you get in pressured, the game change. Everybody seen that last year with the 49ers. 49ers lost that game because of them. They didn't lose it because of Mahomes just playing this outstanding game. They lost it because I don't know. They stopped running the football.
They couldn't finish. They didn't.
They
They
didn't
couldn't
finish.
close.
They
Yeah, they
couldn't
couldn't
close.
finish.
And
So,
they
but
had a similar formula right now. They got
mhm.
two unstoppable guys up front, JPP and Barrett.
Yeah, JPP, what a resurgence, what a great renaissance for him. You got to give him a lot of credit. I mean, it looked like his career might be over after what happened, and that guy just came down to Tampa and got a fresh start, and he's showing that he's still an elite talent. And
The line changed. It was 3.5. Now the line is 3 now. I just I just looked at it again.
and you can't discount the home field advantage. Obviously, I know there's not going to be very much of a crowd factor there. I know the NFL is bringing, I think, 7,500 frontline workers complimentary to the game, which is a great gesture by the NFL. You really love to see that. But I think obviously
Yeah,
Tampa, sleeping in your own bed and everything like that, it could be a little bit
and
of an advantage.
and then they just have that one day where they just got to go to the hotel probably Saturday. But I mean,
Yeah, the
like I said, I
walkthrough.
think those guys would be okay. I think Brady is gonna win. It's just Kansas City obviously is the favorite, but I don't like the offensive line is a problem, and I just think everybody should be excited about the Super Bowl. Probably gonna be the first time in a long time. A lot of those guys and families are gonna be home to actually watch the Super Bowl together. Especially all the media members who probably normally are at the game. So you just enjoy it because we did make it through a whole football season. Just like the college game, we made it all the way through. So you just enjoy it. And our next step is just getting back to normal. And hopefully by, next football season, we at 60, 70% capacity or something like that. Let's just hope that everything keeps panning out strong. I do have one question for you. Little Dolphin talk.
Let's do it.
Are you worried about I was thinking about it. I know everybody's screaming Devontae Smith at 3. I wouldn't take no receiver at 3, just because it's different. Like Amari Cooper is different. Julio Jones is different. Like those guys are different. They're a lot bigger than Devontae Smith. Is the size a factor for you? It matters, but do you feel like it's gonna be a thing where they, do you think it hurt them in the end?
No, I think his size is being a little bit blown out of proportion. Obviously, you've seen his skill set is separating at the line of scrimmage, getting open, great route running. I don't see that being a huge concern. At 3, I mean, listen, Miami could trade down from 3 and probably pick him up at like 6 or 8, maybe
I
even.
don't. I'm not. Like I said, I'm not really high on any receiver in this draft class. I think when you getting guys at 3 at receiver, they have to be just a freak. And Devontae Smith is very good football player, and I'm not taking nothing away from him. But like when you look at Julio and Amari Cooper, those guys were freaks coming out. They
Physical
had,
though, the
yes,
Calvin Johnsons, the guys
yes.
taken that high. I mean, I remember Larry Fitzgerald too. I think when he was
Yeah,
taken
but you're
maybe.
you're talking about a guy who's 6'3", 200
Hmm.
pounds
Yep.
receiver now. Like,
Yeah.
and like I said, Smitty's gonna be a great NFL player. I'm not worried about that. I just think if you trade down, get more value. I'm still on the train of trading for Deshaun Watson. I know the talks have died down a little bit,
Yeah.
but with him threatening to sit out the season to the Texans, it kind of puts them at a disadvantage. And the Dolphins had a perfect trade package: Xavier Howard, the third pick, first round pick next year, and 2 second-round picks, and I think that's good enough.
Hey, listen, I think at this point you just got to ride with Tua. I mean, Tua's here. You got the draft to build around him. I mean, at this point,
But the thing
where's it
is, with the
going?
giraffe picks, you have to hit on them. It doesn't matter if we have the all 32 picks. You have to hit on those giraffe picks. That's why giraffe picks are overblown, and I'm gonna keep saying that. If you can
I
get a
just don't
better
know what's
player,
left. What do you have left around Watson if you give up all that? You're going to take
how?
hits on
But what
both
are you
sides of
giving
the
up?
ball.
Hold on. What are you giving up? You giving up Xavier Howard, the number 3 pick in the draft, which is their pick. So you're not really giving up anything. You're giving up a second round pick, which is their pick. You're giving up your first next year, what is not going to be good anyway, because your guy's going to be in the 28th, 29th slot. All right, and you're giving up another second round
Ideally,
pick, another second round pick. That's 5 things for a guy who we know is a top 5 quarterback. You still have pick 18, You still have second round, third round picks that you have, free agency money, and you'll be playing a guy 27.5 million, and he's 25.
No, I'm not so worried about the contract, but I just don't know what would be left,
You still
obviously,
you
to
still can go
supplement
get the
him.
Aaron. You still can go get the Aaron Jones of the world. You still can go
Yeah,
get
you'd
your
have to
Aaron
obviously that
Jazz.
switches everything. You have to go more the free agent route to sort of
No,
fill
but
out the
how?
roster.
And you still picking at 18, and you still got second round picks, and you still got
You could
third
maybe
round
grab
picks.
Waddle at that range, but Waddle could still be around at
Waddle,
18.
you got Waddle. You still got guys in the second round like Tony, Terrence Marshall. You still got
Eckridge.
guys, yeah, Edwards, that you still got guys that you can draft. I'm just saying, if the opportunity for that draft, for that trade package that I just mentioned arises, you trade that.
Yeah, that's not
And
bad.
and Xavier
Obviously, Tua's
Howard's
in
gonna.
there too.
No, I think Tua is not gonna be in there. I don't think they
Really?
want him.
So what? Tua's going to be your backup?
Nah, Tua's gonna get traded.
You get shipped somewhere else.
Yep, he'll get shipped somewhere else, and you can recoup a first round pick for him if you think about it.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to see all the scenarios, but I mean, listen, I'm good either way. I'm good
I'm
with
good
Tua
either
staying.
way. Yeah.
I'm good with Watson. I mean, it's just
I just want I would like Watson to go to the 49ers if I'm being honest.
yeah, that'd be a good fit there. He's got a lot of good weapons there, a lot of yak guys. A run heavy offense might take a little bit of pressure off him, and then obviously George Kittle, a great tight end as well. So that
So
would be a pretty good.
you sticking with your pick for the Super Bowl?
I mean, after all the injuries to the case, the
Nah,
offensive
no.
line, a
Are
little
you
bit worried.
sticking?
But yeah, I'll listen. What I got? What am I going to lose? It's not like I put a lot out there. Yeah, I'm going to take Kansas City,
Do you
31,
have
27.
for prize picks? Do you have Mahomes over or under?
Oh, I think under.
Under.
I
Brady
think
over or
under.
under?
I think Brady maybe also under. It could be it's like maybe a little bit of a bad
Ronald.
weather day. I've been reading it could be a lot of like 70-something%
I
chance of rain.
I
Could be a
got
little
Ronald.
sloppy. So I think under maybe on both
I
those guys
got Leonard
actually.
Fournette over.
Yeah, I like the backs in this game. I like Kelsey in this game. I like obviously Tyreek Hill. You know he's going to put up his
Are you
numbers.
gonna
So
play the 16 pick one for the 250,000?
why not? What do you got to lose?
I am.
Let's
I'm
roll.
with you. I'm with
Yeah,
you
I
on
think
that.
maybe we'll do a prize pick show on Sunday to
Yeah.
break down the Super Bowl. So, but last but not least, obviously, before we jump off, we want to talk about the one team in South Florida that is winning, and that's the Florida Panthers, off to a 5-0-1 start. The team looks really good. They brought in some new players on the top two lines. They've mixed up a little bit in the defensive core as well, and you got two solid goaltenders in Bobrovsky and Drieger back there. So the Panthers are actually looking really solid early in the year. So I'm excited to see them. We're gonna have a lot of coverage from them throughout the network as well. So, what do you think? What's your take on the Panthers so far, Jock? You had a lot of chance to see what's going on over there in Sunrise.
So I'm not a real huge hockey guy. I follow the Panthers obviously because I'm everything Miami. Uh, but it's just happy to see them winning because they sucked so long when I was growing up. They were so bad, but now that they're actually winning, last year they were okay. I think they can. I don't did it. I think they made the playoffs last year. Did if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I think they squeaked in. Yeah, it was 2 years ago where they missed it by one spot. But no, I'm excited to see the Panthers sort of early season get some points behind under their belt because there's a lot of tough games with the realignment of the divisions, obviously, and the NHL. So it's gonna be interesting how those matchups sort of fall into place as the season goes on. And shout out to one of our Panthers guys, Alex. Here, thanks for jumping on and joining us on the sports break today.
Hey, come on, Alex. So you can talk about the Panthers.
Yeah, we'll definitely get Alex on here. We'll try to hook that up maybe next week. We're gonna have some more coverage of them as well. But with the Heat kind of struggling, I think maybe the Panthers they could get some love from the South Florida sports fans. They play a real exciting brand of hockey. They're a high offense, high octane offense. They're a really good energy team. They got a lot of talented guys, and it's a fun brand of hockey. They're not going to
Also,
win a lot of.
also, also, the Marlins did ship their stuff to Jupiter. I don't know what's the deal with their season, but I do know the Marlins. They should be probably starting the season soon after the MLB gets over their little whatever they be going through. I don't understand, but
Yeah.
so
No, we got a lot of obviously developing things with the Marlins as well. I think they're their young core. They really exceeded expectations last season. So I'm
One
excited to see that pitching staff and that offense develop as well for the Marlins.
one interesting tidbit off topic. Who do you have tonight in this game? Off off Miami. I'm gonna put it up for you because I have it because it's a very interesting matchup. I think it's Golden State and Dallas. Who you have in that game? And if
Let
you
me
had to
see.
pick prize picks right now,
Golden State and Dallas.
yeah, Doncic over, Steph Curry over.
What's the number on Doncic?
Let me go to it right now. I have it up.
Yeah, Dallas has been struggling though. I mean, they just beat Atlanta, but they had lost 6 straight before that.
And
So
and
they're not a
and
great
to
team at
give
all.
and one person to take over tonight for you guys who are watching. Jokic. Take him over against the Lakers.
Oh, the Joker. Yeah, he's having an MVP type season. So, it's nice to see some new guys kind of start to capture that national media attention. I know people have been obviously on Joker for a couple of years, but I think his game has kind of taken him into that MVP conversation where he hasn't really been before.
Doncic
So,
56 points. Curry 48 and a half. Duel it out right now. Who you like?
56 is a lot, but I'm going to take over on both.
Okay.
I'll take over on both. I think Doc is going to be tougher to hit that over though. So if one I'm not sure about, I like Curry over though there for sure. But no, I think we're going to do a prize pick show on Sunday. We'll have all of our predictions. Maybe bring a couple guys from the network to
Yeah. That
enlighten us.
just go ahead and put that 16 pick out there so we can go ahead and win it as a group.
Yeah,
250K.
exactly. And I'm going to be doing some giveaways as well. We're getting into the sports card hobby, so I'm going to have some pretty cool giveaways for a lot of you viewers out there that follow the NBA or in the trading card hobby. So keep an eye out for that. Want to thank everybody for joining us today for the Miami Sports Break, and of course, my guy here, Jaccare Givens, as always. And we'll be back probably on Sunday with a Prize Pick special show. But in the meantime, make sure to follow us on Twitter. And want to give a quick shout out to one of our great sponsors here at the Five Reasons Network, Biscayne Bay Brew. You see the ticker here on the bottom. You can go to the website biscaynebaybrewing.com/beer finder and find out where they are available in your area. Really great sponsor of the show. We really appreciate everything they do, and want to make sure we give them a shout out here at the end of the show before we go. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll catch you soon.